Mental game concept time. Now, let me shut this thing off. Mental game teaching point. Now, I've spoken about this in the past. There are not too many professions out there that have the very high highs and the very low lows of trading. I really can't think of anything. And maybe being a professional fighter, when you get beat by someone, your opponent, and many times in your head, you may conjure up an image of your opponent as somebody you hate, okay, just to, get yourself psyched up to get into that fight and win. And then to be beaten, to be vanquished by that person, that's a low, low. And conversely, the highs are very highs. Not just, from the standpoint of winning, but, there's like an adrenaline rush. There's an endorphin rush just from that intense physical exertion, all right? And in trading is very, very similar. I mean, the highs are very high. When we win, we feel ecstatic, and there is somewhat of a rush in there. There is an adrenaline rush, and there is something physiological in that because we probably go through a lot of stress, and to get that win, and what that feels like, and even the symbolism of it, like, I beat the market. And really, that's the wrong way to look at it, because it's never about beating the market. The market is nothing. It doesn't care about you. It's not against you, okay? You either beat yourself or, you don't. And the lows are very, very low. We've all felt them, the losses. Now, some of you might say, well, Mike, I thought you don't take losses. Right, I don't take losses. I teach people how to win. But that does not mean that we don't experience the lows, okay? We definitely experience the lows, just like people who give their money away thinking that's the prudent thing to do, and they lose. And so for those people, when they have a loss and they use prudent stop losses, right, and they choose to lose, there is a feeling, that very low feeling that comes with that, the disappointment, the lows. And then they get over it because they're out. They don't think about it. So you might think, well, isn't that better? Whereas our approach is we grind through it. We know we are right in our view most of the time. It's a question of patience and just allowing the market to do, whatever it is doing, because we have trust in the methodology and the approach and our understanding and the information. And it's a question of paying with time. So we experience that sometimes in the form of stress over what could be a prolonged period of time. Ultimately, the market comes back in our favor, and if we are wrong in the outlook, then we have the skills and capabilities to work out of that situation. But again, that requires the same ability to endure the stress and the anxiety and the lows. Now you might say, well, isn't the other way better? Just take your loss. First of all, it's not good to lose. If you lose, then the chances are your capital will be depleted and you will be out of the game. And that's what happens to most people, 95% of most people. But here's the thing. You might feel that's better because you take your loss and you move on. But losses that accumulate over time leaves you in ruin, right? You can't continue as a trader because you have no more money. And a lot of you, that's what happened to you. And you came to me, you're starting to catch on, you're starting to make money. But that doesn't, and many of you who have come to me and you're novices or have been failed traders in the past. I don't want to use the word failed, but unsuccessful traders in the past. Now you're making money. I get emails every single day from people saying, Mike, since I've been with you, I've never taken a loss. I've not taken a loss. But all of you would agree that does not eliminate the stress and the anxiety that you have to go through. Now, some people, I don't even want to say they can't handle it. They choose not to handle it. I had a guy who sent me an email the other day say, Mike, cancel my subscription. I've realized that this is not for me. Okay. He has chosen to not pursue it. Okay. Everyone has the capability to do it. It's a question of either sticking or quitting. When you quit, then you basically say, you rationalize the quitting by basically say, I don't have what it takes. Everyone has what it takes. Everyone. I will say this right now unequivocally, that everyone has what it takes. Everyone. All right? It's a question of a choice, just like losing is a choice, just like winning is a choice. You can choose to work your way through the stress and the anxiety and the toughness and the adversity. And as I always say, rise above it. Come up with techniques. There are many techniques that I use. I don't always look at the market when things are going against me. I try to stay non-emotional. You can't sit there staring at the market when things are going against you. You have to understand that the market moves around. You have to also have perspective. I've tried to, invoke this concept of perspective many times here and saying, like, when you look at things at a micro basis, what's happening now, what happened in the last hour or today or yesterday or over the past week or over the past quarter, it doesn't matter. It's all so irrelevant, really. It's really so much noise. If you're in this game, then I would assume that you're in this game for the long term, that you want something out of it. I don't know anyone who can start a business and within a very short period of time, weeks, some months, declare himself successful and everything's wonderful and going fantastic every single day, and there are no pitfalls or hiccups or problems that arise that he has to deal with, and it's absolutely stress-free. I mean, you have to compare it. If you're going to be realistic about this, you have to compare it to any entrepreneurial venture, any business, even a business that is not entrepreneurial in the sense where you just started it up like a startup, but a business that has been in existence for a long period of time, established with systems and, a management approach. I mean, you're still going to run into difficulties and hardships. I don't know anybody in business who found themselves in difficulty for a period of time and said, I'm stopping myself out. That's it. I'm out of the business. I mean, they stick to the very end unless they're forced liquidated. Everybody does. Everybody does. I don't know anybody who would say I'm stopping myself out prudently and just walk away from their business. I mean, it just doesn't make sense at all. Doesn't make sense. So we are not immune. Although we make a profit on every single trade, we are not immune to the lows. And the lows are frequent. I've said many times that the only easy trade is that last profitable trade that you just closed out. I've been doing this for almost 40 years. I know I repeat that ad nauseum. I know that, but I have to repeat it to let you know that it never gets easy. It never gets easy for me. I put on a few more currency positions, over the last couple of days. They're all in the red. They are all in the red. But they're all in the red, but they're going to be in the green. I trust in the approach. I have confidence in my abilities. I know that it works, and I have to somehow in my mind frame that in the correct way and not get all emotional and panicky and sabotage myself, because that's really the key. And that's why I said everybody has the capability to do this. You don't need to be schooled in MMT, although that's a big help, because we know how the monetary system operates, and that allows us to take advantage of so many people who don't understand it. The vast majority of people who don't understand it. How could I come out earlier today and say all those people buying the dollar and all those people selling gold, they're wrong. They're absolutely wrong. And I said that with absolute confidence. I have zero hesitation in saying that, and I know absolutely 1,000,000% that my positions, which are short dollar and long gold, are going to make money. All right. So the stress is part of the game. It is a choice. When you say it's not for me, you have rationalized a decision to not continue. You have rationalized quitting. You have somehow said that you don't have the ability to say, I won't quit. Everyone has the ability to say they won't quit. Everyone. I could take a 5-year-old kid, and teach them how to trade. It's all here. And it's all about moving forward and pushing through it and dealing with the stress and the anxiety, or going the other way and quitting. Basically, that's what stop losers are. I mean, it's all about quitting. It's like, that's a decision, and it's not a prudent decision. I don't care. Nobody could argue, to me at least, and I think it's proven, nobody can argue that quitting is a good thing. Nobody can argue that. So, if you say it's not for me, you basically, massaging your fragile little ego there. It's okay. I'm special and I could do something else. No, nothing is going to work out. Nothing is going to work out. The tenacity, the grit, the ability to stick it out, that is needed in every single thing that you do in your life if you intend to succeed. Every single thing, okay? Every breath you take requires effort and energy on your part, whether you realize it or not. All right? Your body's working. It is working to keep you alive every time your heart beats. All right? And these are not trivial analogies that I'm making right here. It's all about that. It is all about that. So if you want to be, fragile and you're special and you could do something else and this is not for you, just understand one thing. And everybody's free to go have that view of themselves or make that decision, whatever. Just understand one thing. That is quitting. And no matter what you do, quitting does not get you to where you want to go. Quitting does not get you to where you want to go. You toughen up. You deal with adversity. That's called life. That is called life. There's no secrets. You want to know something? It's very, very easy. This whole game is very, very easy. But people are fragile. People are weak. People lack resiliency. They want to be picked up and carried and given, the rewards and the spoils without having to do very much, without having to sweat, without having to worry about anything, without having to work, without having to think. Sheep. That's not how it's going to work, people. That's not how it's going to work. So think about that.